Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Solar Sailing. We are at episode 17. I'm Jason, and my boat, Soul Seeker, is on the hard in North Carolina, sitting there waiting for us to get back in Belhaven. I can't wait to get back. I'm itching to get back. I'm actually kind of mad I'm not back, even with the crazy storm that's going on over there today. So that's my story. Let's jump over to Aaron and hear a little bit about Aaron.
Hey guys, thanks for coming out this morning on an early Saturday morning. My name is Aaron. I'm with the boat Extraordinary Horizons. It's a 65-foot one-off custom powered catamaran down here in South Florida. Um, we're having storms down here in South Florida. It seems like there's storms all over the southeast for some reason or another. Maybe it's just that season. So glad to be here, and I'm gonna pass it back to Jason.
All right. So, guys, we have a little new thing here. Came as a suggestion, actually. Patrick's got a friend who's a regular viewer, said, hey, guys, you might want to toss, drum roll, please, this bad boy up there. So, if you want to read through that, it basically says, do things at your own risk, just like we are. And so, there you go. I'm going to let you pause that and read it if you want to so that we can get back here and hear a little bit from our new friend here, Kevin. Kevin is going to talk to us about his boat, Two Down, and it's quite the adventure. I'm looking forward to it. Let me shift our view here. Kevin, go ahead and introduce yourself and let's dive right in.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin. I'm owner and operator of Electric Propulsion Solutions LLC. I actually specialize in what these guys do, and I'm sitting here on my electric boat.
I just like how you threw that out there. I'm sitting on my electric boat. Like that's not a big deal. Good Lord, that's a huge deal. I love that. Now you said you're in North Carolina too right now, right?
I am Carolina Beach.
That's so cool. And you guys are sitting through quite a little, what would we call it, torrential rain right now? It's pretty bad.
It's a little sporty. The islands all around me are pretty flooded. The wind's blowing it in here. Typical nor'eastern stuff.
Yeah. And now you're using Starlink, and good Lord, we're getting a really good signal from you right now. How's that working for you?
I love my Starlink. As I've stated, I've lived on boats for 15 years, and I've done some crazy stuff over the years to get internet on my boat. and having Starlink the last 4 years has just been a game changer. It just runs. That's it. Everything always works. I have everything in my boat connected to it. You could turn my oven on from where you're at right now. I mean, it's just excellent being able to just have everything connected to it. It's lightning fast. I mean, could not be happier. Worth every penny.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, I want to remind our viewers that we also have Patrick McKay from Sailing Electra. He ran into a little bit of a tech issue due to some lightning lately, and he is having to manually steer. And so he may be joining us a little bit midstream. That's fine. He's out in Greece. And so hopefully he will be able to join us soon enough. But without any further ado, I'm going to jump in here and move to our slideshow. Sorry, I tried to mute, but had to cough. So here we are, the slideshow. We are just putting this for the first time into Restream, which is the service we use for our podcast. They are a free service and they provide great resource, honestly. So if you're looking to do a podcast your own, consider it. However, this is a 46 slide presentation, and so there could be a little bit of lag. I apologize for that. We're going to try and keep up with that, but let's go ahead and have you kick us off here and talk to us a little bit about what we're looking at.
Yeah, so this is my boat Two Down. I like to call it my floating experiment. Everything I do for customers is going to be brand name stuff, Ocean Volt, Elco, whatever, they choose that I feel safe. I don't have a problem installing. When it comes to my boat, whatever pops into my crazy head is what I do. Everything on it I've built from scratch, down to the electric propulsion, as you'll see in a little while. The reduction gear is made out of torque converter for a go-kart. Cool. My water maker is made from scratch. No proprietary parts whatsoever.
Oh, sing to me.
Yeah, I don't even use a Victron servo, even though they're excellent. I went with microcomputers and programmed them myself. So everything on here is just whatever I thought I could make work at the time.
Sweet.
And, it helps me along the way. And I have a little more insight to the things I do, on a daily basis as well because of it. And I use it. I've gone over 5,000 miles since turning my boat electric.
Hold
So
up. Hold up.
it works.
Let's pause there. You said what?
I've gone,
5,000 miles?
yep, I've gone up and down the coast a few times, and halfway up the coast another time, and then coming from Miami Beach up here to North Carolina.
Outstanding.
I would say about 80% of it was probably ICW travel too.
Oh, let's
I, u-
go. Let's
I
go.
use,
See, so our journey is going to be the Great Loop, doing 6,000 miles, intracoastal, Great Lakes, down the rivers, back into the Gulf, and repeat. And so to hear that after a previous guest who was like, "Man, I hate the ICW," I'm like, "Oh, finally, someone who's going to actually tell me good things."
I hated the ICW until I had an electric motor. As soon as I had an
Oh,
electric motor, I love the ICW now. I just hate it when the stink boats come by me.
yeah, right.
But I'm just cruising down the ICW with my electric motor. And it's funny that you guys use the term solar sailing because I've been using that for 5 years. And what I do is what you're seeing on the screen right now is I usually use my head sail and then all the power that's going into my solar panels, I'll use that much power going to my motor. So I'm essentially motoring all day long.
Perfect.
And when I get to my location, I still have full battery banks.
Love it. Well, let's dive through some of these images. I can't wait to hear more. And I want to remind our viewing guests, we've got a few right now. If you throw comments into the chat, we will definitely read those, respond to those. And if they pertain and seem like something that would add to the conversation today, we will throw those up there and chat those up. And
Be
so
careful what you wish
please
for.
engage.
I have some friends watching this right now, so you might not want to read all of those comments. They're a
Oh,
little
I
crazy.
definitely want to read every single one of those. All right, so let's dive through. Again, I am not 100% confident on this slide deck. It's new for me, so we're going to see how it goes. What are we looking at here, brother? Talk us through each one, if you
I
will.
really wish I could tell you where that picture was taken. I literally have zero idea. I'd be lying if I told you a location.
It's called Beautiful. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And so, are you just, this is a common setup for you where you're just going through, got your solar hanging out and doing your business?
Pretty much. So until 2 years ago when I came to North Carolina and now I'm here permanently, my boat didn't touch a dock for, 3-4 years. Uh,
Ooh,
right now, this is currently where I'm sitting right now. I'm actually facing the other way, but
okay.
this is my slip here at the yacht club. And there's my boat again at the same
Nice.
slip. So this is currently where she's residing. I do try to go out to the basin and anchor up for a week or so at a time, just to get away from the dock and feel like I'm a traveler again.
Right. I love the underwater lights. Those are sick.
Yeah, just pulled it out of the water beginning of the year. Did about $20,000 worth of work to the bottom of it, and added those lights, all new through hulls. I went with Hempel bottom paint, which
Oh,
is pretty revolutionary. It's supposed to give you an extra knot and improve fuel economy. When you rub your hand across it, it almost feels wet. It's slick.
wow.
Once you get up to 5 or 6 knots, literally everything falls off of your hull. You never have to scrape again.
Excellent.
I actually had to take an applicator's course to be able to even order the stuff.
Okay,
Um,
wait. We got to pause there. What the hell are you talking about? You had to take a course to apply paint?
I did. So this is new here in the States. It's my understanding it has been across the pond for a while. But it's new here, and the only way they'll let anybody apply it is if you take their course. And I took the course with Battle Cat Marine here in North Carolina and Wilmington. So if
Oh
anybody needs a
my.
Hempel bottom paint, reach out to them. They're going to take care of you.
I'm going to reach
I
out to you.
I will never do it again. I will send you to them. I did my boat, and that's it. But it's pretty amazing stuff. It's unlike anything I've ever used before or ever touched. Like I said, it feels slick when you touch it. You lick your finger, rub it across your hull, and it
That's so
just
cool.
slides across. And you don't.
So I've got a question that just popped up. I'm going to interrupt if you're okay with that.
Yeah, no, go ahead,
Brad,
it's fun.
and Brad's a good friend of mine, colleague. He says, "Hi, Jason. What's the most remote spot you've anchored where solar saved the day? No wind, no fuel, just sun." So here's the interesting thing about that question, Brad. My boat is Soul Seeker, and it is 100% electric, no sails, no motors, like gas motors, no diesel, no nothing, just two e-propulsion Navy 6.0s. So every day that we're underway, solar has saved the day and has cooked the bacon and has flushed the toilet, all the things. And so that's the uniqueness of our boat and design on purpose. We're just stretching it and going, hey, why the heck not? Let's do something crazy. What about you guys, Aaron and Kevin? What's the most remote place that you've felt like solar saved your day?
Go ahead, Kevin. I'll let you go first.
I'm in the same exact situation as you. I have no generator. The only I don't even like wind generators myself. One, they shade my solar panels, and two, I can't stand the noise.
That's unforgivable sin. Don't you
oh
dare
my
shade
God.
my solar panels.
Come on. So everywhere I go, whether I'm in Miami Beach right next to everybody or if I'm in some random location, solar saves the day no matter what.
Love that. Love that. Now I know with Aaron, he's doing a hybrid approach, so solar's definitely going to save his house loads. Aaron, you want to
Yep.
speak to that question?
Yeah, so I don't have any I don't have any real live experience yet since I'm still in the build phase. But like Jason said, that's definitely the plan is a hybrid diesel for all you purist electric guys out there. I'm sorry. It's gonna be a hybrid diesel, hybrid electric, at least for the time being, until I get some more other stuff sorted out.
Well, you know, a
first. But yeah,
65 footer kind of plays a part in that too, doesn't it?
well, yeah, I'm gonna try to be totally self-sufficient on the house loads first. And from talking to several people, they say I shouldn't have a problem. But you know, when the rubber meets the road, like I like to say, we'll see.
I love it.
So
Hey, as any
yeah.
cruiser will tell you, redundancy is key. So having that generator is going to save your butt at some point, and you'll be happy you have it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So there you go. Let's we've talked about your bottom paint, and that is beautiful. I love that. I can't imagine taking a course to have to apply it.
That's the like primer coat that they give you. If
Okay.
I remember correctly, it was 2 coats of that, and then the black that you saw that I put over top of it, it goes over that.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous. So does it apply any differently? I'm sure they have proprietary stuff they want to keep under wraps, but can you give us anything there?
You got to use the same like extra nappy roller that you would use on just about any other bottom paint. So it's not that much dissimilar when it does come to applying it. You just have to do it, you know, in the right order. Dry time's got to be precise. You got to have a certain amount of coats each way. They have like a millimeter thickness scale that you have to go by each coat.
Wow.
And it's a little different, but at the end of the day, you're applying paint on the boat.
Yep. Now, I mean, and when you look at this picture here, I got to admit, this does my heart good because I'm like, I see all these beautiful finished products and I'm like, man, my little Soul Seeker looks like crap. This is not good. And then I see your guys' stuff where you started and it's awesome. I'm like, yes, others started here too.
Of course, it all starts looking like crap, and then you build it out.
I have the opposite effect. When I see this, I get chills, and I remember how much that sucked.
Yeah, I can definitely relate. I feel the pain for sure.
But once you get it back in the water and you take a step back, oh, is it worth it?
I love that. And so as we're continuing through, I'm going to keep this image in mind because that just, man, it's so awesome to see how a little hard work goes a long way, or maybe a lot of hard work goes a long way.
It's quite a bit. I was actually working on everybody else's boat in the day, getting off in the evening, working on my boat. This was probably February in North Carolina. Coming from a guy that has spent many years running from the winter, I am not acclimated to this. And yeah, but this is what the boat looked like when she got hauled out before I stripped her down and repainted her.
Nice.
A lot of hard miles, and she was definitely neglected.
Oh, poor baby. But listen, she's being loved now. Look at this.
Yeah,
Let's
that's the primer
go.
coat with the bottom paint down there.
That looks
My
so
little
good.
nav station there. This looks like it was when I installed all this because you can see my tools in the background. And my
That's great.
cushions aren't down there either.
I
So
mean, it's
these are my
just perfect.
batteries. I have 4 of these. They are 48 volt, 100 amp hour, LifePo 4 cells put together with Dali BMS. And they have been freaking bulletproof. I have
Yes,
0
great batteries.
complaints. My original batteries I had on this boat were NCM batteries. I bought them from China, thought I got a good deal. They caught fire in the middle of the Chesapeake Bay on me. I
Oh, no bueno.
literally had to take my partner at the time and put her into the dinghy, shove her out into the Chesapeake Bay, and then continue to save my boat from burning. I had
Wow,
to disconnect the battery, pull it out, get it out while it was shooting a
that's
Roman
a
candle out the top of
nightmare.
it,
Ugh.
toss it in the Chesapeake Bay, and watched it burn all the way down.
Okay,
Uh,
so for those of us who are not really versed in all this world, nickel, cadmium,
Magnesium.
magnesium. Okay,
The
so
magnesium
NCM
is the
batteries.
magnesium is the problem. As anybody knows, it's in fireworks, it's in lighters. It creates its own oxygen and it burns until it's gone. Uh, that's the problem, and that's
Nasty
what would have
stuff.
taken my boat down. These cells here, so much more safer. I will never have anything else on my boat until they come out with something tried and true that's better, which
You know,
eventually
I
they
want to
will.
interject there because that's a big one. And I know Aaron's in this world of, okay, which battery to go with? And he's going to have some thoughts
Yeah.
here too. But honestly, lithium iron phosphate gets a bad rap because, and people are afraid of it because they think of the early iteration of lithium ion. Totally different chemistry, guys. This lithium iron phosphate stuff is very gunproof, if you will. Now, speak to that a little bit more, and if you know anything about these sodium batteries, those are kind of exciting too.
I've been following it. I'm not sold yet, but I've been following it, and I'm very optimistic that there will be something that will surpass this. I'm not quite positive that's it yet, but I'm not going to say it's not either.
So, so Kevin, so there's the sodium, and then there's the solid state batteries, because I'm I'm in the market, so to speak, right now, looking around out there with lithium iron phosphate and sodium. I think it's sodium iron phosphate or something similar to that. And then there's solid state. So the solid state, from what I understand with the little research that I've done so far, is similar to a solid state drive that goes into computer where there's less moving parts. Um, and they're safer than lithium iron phosphate. Do you know much about the solid state batteries or no?
I don't know enough to speak on it on a podcast.
Okay. All right.
Fair enough.
I'll recuse myself from that one before I put
Yeah.
my foot in my mouth.
I'll do some more research, and maybe on
And
an up and
share it
coming
with me, and
pod.
we'll chat about it off air and compare some
Okay,
notes.
perfect.
Hey, can
Perfect.
we
Will do.
just do this real quick? I'm going to bounce to this, and then maybe that'll make you feel like, hey, yeah, maybe we can talk about this. I don't know.
Well, the
Yeah.
one thing I can definitely say is any build that I do, these are the cells that's going in it.
There you go.
There's
Absolutely.
nothing right now that makes me feel as warm and fuzzy as those cells right there.
You know, and I got to add to that, honestly, the price for those right now, if you
They're
buy
coming
those
down.
cells, they are dirt cheap. And I don't care about tariffs right now or anything. No, I mean, we just had 100%
Yeah.
tariff threat. So that's that'll have a dent. But
They'll
honestly,
bypass it. They'll ship it from China to Thailand and then ship
there
it
you
to
go.
us. It'll be all right.
We're good.
Correct.
All right, let's keep going here because we got some slides, man. But that was exciting, and I like the Dolly BMSs. They are really solid. But
They
we've
really
got to
are.
take a commercial interruption to see the hog.
Yeah, this is my baby. It's got my company logo on the side, which every once in a while I get asked if it's electric, and I really don't know how anybody could think that would be electric, but that's my baby there. I have a truck that I have, but it never moves. I just had to replace the tires because they were both flat. I ride this everywhere every day.
That's awesome. That's a good time. Okay, and so as we dive through, I think you have some project boats that are coming up as well, and there's also like this one's a little out of place, so we'll get more into it later, but introduce this to us.
So this is a Bali. I want to say it was a 5.4. Y'all don't crucify me if I get those numbers wrong. It's been a few years. This was the most intricate install I've ever done. They kept the Yanmar diesel engines, and behind it we put 2 pod drives, 3 battery banks. You're able to pass power from each battery bank to the other. Everything's monitored. It's got 4 turbos in it. It was a heck of a project. It was a charter boat, so it was being done in between charters, which made it even harder.
Yeah. So, and this is back to your boat, right?
Yep. This is my crazy experimental boat here. That's my engine room.
I'm dying to know what the sticker is. I got to be real. I'm very distracted by the sticker.
It says electricity can kill you, and it has a guy being electrocuted. And there's a couple of them around there. I also have one that says it's powered by a flux capacitor. So
Perfect.
yeah, I like I like little stupid stickers, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, that's awesome.
But
so that is quite the power room, isn't it?
Yeah, I had the diesel engine there one time, and the diesel engine worked fine when I pulled it out. I just got a crazy idea and decided to run with it. So I've ripped a perfectly good working diesel engine out of here and replaced it with everything you see. Hey, Patrick.
Hi, guys. So sorry, I was just got to an anchorage after hand steering for 6 hours because my autopilot was fried by some lightning. And when I went to go and check on the anchor, I forgot to get a call right now. So very sorry about that, but lovely to see you, and good to see the rest of you as well.
Cool. It's good to see you too, Patrick. Glad to have you with us. Although the subtle flex with toweling off is just perfect. I feel like, if you hadn't recently had your haircut, you could have done this number and we'd all been like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Now, you've joined us just as we've got a little rundown here, and I think we've made it to the motors. And so why don't we go ahead and pick back up where we left off with the motors?
Yeah, this is so my original motor that I had in my boat was a repurposed forklift motor. And the reason I went that route was because my motivation for all of this was sailing UMA. I don't know who knows them and who doesn't, but I saw that and was like, I got a degree in electrical engineering. I could probably do that.
Okay, wait a minute. You just dropped a bomb. You've got a degree in electrical engineering. Okay. Now we're getting someplace. So sailing UMA's work inspired your study and expertise, and together we've got this.
100%. Like I even bought the same motor that they originally had that I just happened to find on eBay.
Forklift motor,
The motor sucked and the setup sucked, and I think I probably got like 500 miles out of it before I said, this is crazy, I got to change this. But it worked.
Love that.
This is what I currently have, and as I've said before, I get crazy ideas in my head and I run with them. So these Mott Energy motors are typically used on golf carts. That's the normal place you would probably find one, but it's an electric motor. You can pretty much use it for anything. The black piece of metal you see there was a torque converter for a go-kart that I pulled all the bearings out, changed chain, and put new sprockets on it and sized them so that I could get close to a 2-to-1 reduction on it. And that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like much, but that little setup there is probably taking me 4,000 miles problem-free. I haven't had a single issue with it. About once a year, I try to go in there and like clean up the chain, re-grease everything. Cool. But literally, other than that, I've had no problems whatsoever.
Wow. That's great.
These are my 2 fake Serbo GXs. As I said earlier, I went with Raspberry Pi microcomputers, programmed them myself, put them in a little Nintendo case to make them look cool. And the top one you're looking at is my 48-volt bank. The bottom one would be my 12-volt bank.
Okay, and then you said the Nintendo, and there it is. There's the Nintendo.
Yeah, it's just me.
Between that and your stickers, I'm like, I like this guy.
And that's what it looks like before the case. So that's
Fantastic.
essentially my Serbo GXs. Does everything that the Victron would have done. I saved maybe a little bit of money doing it that way, but that was not my intent at all. I just like doing things my own way.
And with that, I mean, again, to our fun with our disclaimer, but also your background and education, some of this stuff that you're seeing, like he knows what he's doing. You know, this is maybe something that
Not
maybe
as much
someone
as you
like
would
me might
think.
go ahead and buy the Serbo. Like,
I had never done any computer programming or anything like that. And programming is a strong word. It's basically downloading the right file and putting it on there. Somebody else did the legwork for me. Um, but this is definitely not in my wheelhouse. And just about everything here has come about through YouTube and internet and things
love
like
it,
that.
love it.
This was the installation of my homemade water maker. It's made with pretty much all Home Depot parts, with the exception of the motor and probably the pressure washer head and the membrane that you see right there. But every fitting, everything else, if something goes wrong, I can go to any auto parts store, any home repair store, get anything I need to fix it. I don't have to wait around for Spectra or somebody to decide they want to send me a part. I can just fix it myself. And
That's fantastic.
I built it for about $2,000, which anybody who has a water maker knows that's a pretty darn good deal.
Yeah, that's impressive. Now, Patrick has a water maker as well that if I remember correctly, he's kind of engineered. Patrick, any thoughts on this?
It's probably mostly the same sort of parts, reed valves, high pressure membranes, that sort of thing. Mine is running off the Karcher K4, the water cooled one. So I'm very curious to know what pump you've got, and is it better than the Karcher? I've burnt out one Karcher in 3 years, but that was the air cooled model. I'm hoping the water cooled doesn't burn out. But if there's something better around, I'd love to learn.
Off the top of my head, I have no idea what pump I went with. I went with the one that would work for me at the time that I could get my hands on. It's really
Okay.
nothing special, and I haven't used it in the last 2 years since I've been here. But the 2+ years prior, leading up to that, it was flawless. Never had to come to land for water, anything like that. Like I said, we went in those 5,000 miles. I don't think we touched the dock the entire time, the exception of maybe tying up, waiting for a lock or something to that effect, waiting for the Great Bridge or something stupid like that. But never needed to touch a dock, always anchored everywhere. That's said motor right there. And this is the original picture from when I installed it. I actually have a soft start on it because it is a 120 pump. And the same kind of soft start you'd probably put on an air conditioner unit or anything like that. I use that to kind of cushion the blow of starting that thing because it takes some power to spin that thing up.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, that's really great stuff.
I
I'm
think
so
that's
impressed.
I think it's probably the biggest downside about it is the power draw. If you go with a Spectra or something like that, the power draw is going to be better. It's going to be lower, things like that. This system, not as efficient. There you go. And that's my old cushions. But this system, not as efficient, but gets the job done. And, I'd rather do it myself if you can't tell.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Very impressive work. And so
Yeah.
as we get through that, any other comments from our guys here?
Well, there's a real beauty in being able to fix things yourself, especially with things you can order on Amazon. You don't need to make friends with somebody in Spectra or one of these other companies. It's when our pump went, we went on Amazon. We ordered it. So I had to sail from Croatia to Italy to get it, but I got it the next, 3 or 4 days later, which is nice.
Awesome. Now, I know, Aaron, you guys have been doing quite a bit of work with the water system, the plumbing system here lately in your videos. Any thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be, again, I don't have any real world experience yet, but I'm gonna be using an ocean marine water maker. So I can't really speak on how efficient or how hard it's gonna be to start yet, but that's definitely some good information that Kevin just gave about putting a soft start. So you're not basically, you're softening the blow to the electrical system when the pump starts up.
Very nice. And this is a good chance here to remind our folks who are watching online during the live stream. We've had a few comments back and forth so far. Keep those coming. If you have thoughts about this, we would be happy to interject during the conversation. But we're going to keep going. Slide 26 is behind us, and now we're moving. What it looked like was the galley.
Nice.
Talk to us about what we're looking at here, brother.
So when I bought the boat, it had a Princess gas-powered stove. Your normal galley there. I didn't like that. When I went electric, I wanted everything to be electric.
Oh,
And
yeah.
honestly, the very last thing that I turned to electric was my propane-powered instant hot water heater. And I loved that thing. I have a 90-gallon water tank, and I could take a 90-gallon hot shower if I wanted to.
Wow.
And that kind of stung to get rid of. But everything else, I was really happy and just wanted to get rid of it. I actually did this galley refit, anchored up in Spa Creek in Annapolis. As many people probably know, actually the boat show is going on right now, so that creek's probably pretty full. But just on a whim, just like everything else, I finished up the jobs. We had a couple week or two before we had to leave, and I was like, let's redo the galley. And that oven there, it's hooked to the Starlink, as I alluded to earlier, and it does everything from rotisserie to baking to frying. I don't cook, so it doesn't get used much these days. But once upon a time, I did have a live-in cook, and it did get a lot of use.
I love that. Now, tell me a little bit more about this. Your Starlink is connected to your stove and your oven. What?
There's an app for everything these days. And the oven's hooked to the Wi-Fi. When I do occasionally put a frozen pizza in there, as soon as it's done, my phone starts vibrating. And other than that, I really don't know what benefits you get from it. I just know that it had the feature, so I was going to use it.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. So
And then
moving forward,
the little whiteboard up there was probably the best thing I ever did. You can see it above my head here too. It's kind of nice having a dry erase board in your galley. You can just kind of write what you want on it. Before this podcast, I had to erase a bunch of account numbers and names of clients and little notes to myself so that, I didn't share that with the world.
I love that.
But it was just a stupid little thing to do, and it just turned out to be awesome.
Now, the real problem is, are you going to forget those account numbers and passwords?
I was smart enough to take a picture before I erased them.
Smart man. Very smart man. All right. Now we're looking at your kind of living space. Yes.
Yeah, that's where I'm sitting right now. Just had these cushions made. I got new cushions made inside and out by
Nice.
a Carl Winkler here in North Carolina. So if anybody needs some cushions made, he is the man. I'm thinking to put my email address out there.
Yeah.
Feel free to reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with him, and he will take care of you.
Oh, Carl Winkler getting the shout out. I love it.
Yeah. Try to plug all my friends while I'm here.
That's great.
That table you see there, I made that in the original refit. It actually slides out from the wall. That's what you
Cool.
see. Everything sitting on here. You can slide it up against the wall. When you don't want it, when it's time to eat, you just pull it out. It's right on rollers, comes right to you.
Very nice.
And then obviously the TV that never turns off, thanks to Starlink, is there too.
Love that. What's the name of the shark?
Never named them.
Oh, that's a fun name. Hey, hello, never named him.
My son actually gave that to me.
That's cool.
So what you're looking at here is an electric outboard that I made out of spare parts that I had laying around my boat. The only thing that I bought for this build was the 1967 Evinrude Johnson outboard itself. I pulled the motor off, and the motor you see on top there is the same one that I have in my big boat. I had an extra one laying around. I was like, hey, what the hell?
Cool.
It was a fun project, and I don't think I gave you guys a finished copy of it. I had to make the cowling bigger. I had to re-fiberglass it, stretch it, paint it, all of that. It was a fun project. Not very practical, though.
Yeah.
I did that. That picture was taken. Yep, there it is before I mounted it. I did that in Miami Beach, and I think the first time I tried to fight the current, I soon figured out that it probably wasn't going to meet my needs.
How many knots did you need to fight the current?
Oh, it's probably a few knots ripping under that bridge. Anybody
Yeah.
that knows you go in between the islands there trying to get to shore, and it rips pretty tight through there. And I made it, but it just wasn't practical enough, and the gas powered outboard wound up going back on shortly
Ah,
after. But it was
well,
a fun project. I had a good time, and I still have it in a box truck of mine that I use for storage.
well, Patrick and I, we had to outrun a storm getting into Hoboken, and they're in North Carolina. And that episode, we talked about going full power on an electric motor, and Patrick coined the term. I think it's a fun one, full electron.
I
And so
like
we're gonna
it.
have to adopt that. Now, I like here that too. You have like a makeshift, like you. This is looks like a just $5, $10 storage bin.
That's exactly what it is. It was a storage bin I had laying around, some switches I had laying around.
Let's
The
go.
little battery meter there is actually off of one of those batteries that caught fire. And I just decided to save the battery meter off of it in case it still worked, and it did. And
I'm so
it was
impressed.
just something fun to do in my spare time.
You pretty much my hero at this point. I love this. This is great. All right, so as we continue through, again, I do apologize for the lag on the images. I think it's been doing okay.
I'm doing good.
Aaron, what are you thinking?
Yeah, it's been doing really well. I
Oh,
don't
good.
I don't notice any lag really.
Perfect. Now, this right here, oh my goodness. Now, Kevin, I'm going to be honest with you. I know for a fact that Patrick puts his glasses on when he doesn't want to show his poker face that he's stunned and amazed by what we're looking at. That is incredible.
Yeah, tell us the
This
numbers.
was
Tell us all about it.
this was a fun project. So I don't remember the exact specs on this boat, but it's an old classic wooden boat that a gentleman decided to electrify, and just he wanted to redo the whole thing, and he had no problem spending money on this boat. As you can tell, this was, gosh, I want to say 3 years ago. Back when those sails were still pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And you see it on that side. And if I remember correctly, that side is just for the one motor. I'm almost positive this one. Go to the next slide real quick.
Yep.
Let me see. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure we had 2 motors on this build. Yep, there we go. 2 motors on that build. So what you just saw a second ago was on the complete other side too. So times what you just saw by 2, and that was what he used for the propulsion there.
Awesome.
Yeah, this was a fun project. I would like to go back to Florida and see it in the water.
Yeah.
So this is here in North Carolina. This is sitting at Wilmington Marine Center. And that was a Elco motor. And it sat for so long, it actually, they make them different now. They're smaller, and I like this motor better. This is
Really?
their last gen motor. It's a little beefier, and we actually took everything from the inside of it, sent it back to Elco. They reprogrammed it, updated it with everything new that the new motors has, and send it back to us. So in that nice big rugged case that I really like is just the same as the brand new one that you would buy.
Cool.
And that boat, that motor's worth more than that entire boat.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it's an interesting boat. I actually rewired that entire boat, reran every single wire in that boat for every single thing. Spent a little bit of time on it.
This looks like something worthy of NASA's label. That's incredible.
Yeah, this was a refit on a boat. And they had, what they had on it before was a little subpar, and I love my Victron blue. I love my Victron stuff, and it was a fun upgrade. It was fairly simple, larger wires, swapping out some gear, nothing too crazy.
I feel like I would
So
like to have an electric boat that is painted Victron blue, and like that's the name of the boat, Victron blue.
well, I mean, between Victron and Ocean Vault, I got a lot of blue laying around, and it's funny because I put blue LEDs in a lot of my builds, and my boat is included. Actually, when you go through the slides, you'll probably see a couple of them. It's just kind of a little thing I do. I usually add some blue LEDs in there for them.
Nice.
So like I said, between Victron and Ocean Vault, there's a lot of blue happening. This is that Bali that we spoke about earlier that you saw the picture of. They left the Yanmar diesel engine, and if you look behind the ladder there, you can see where the Ocean Vaults were installed. Not quite parallel to them, but just inside and behind. It was a very smart system. Took a lot of designing. Derek Roop with Ocean Vault USA did a lot of the design work. I did a lot of critiquing on it. You see all these converters. These are 48 to 48 volt converters. They're paralleled. This thing has 3 rather large battery banks in it, and they wanted to be able to pass power between them, and I 100% understand. In my boat as well, I can take power from my 48 volt and keep my 12 volt charged and things like that. So this is what we came up with them for them, and you can literally pass power between all the different battery banks. And all of the battery banks are very extensive. It's a very large boat, and you can run the air conditioners for days, just sitting out there on anchor with or without solar. They spared no expense whatsoever on this build, and it was a really fun one.
Now, tell me this, Kevin, because I'm seeing a first for me. And again, I am very much a novice at all of this. I'm a DIYer. I can't afford to have an electrical engineer come in and do that stuff for me. I know that, and I think some of our viewers are in that same boat. But when I see the wiring, for example, coming from the top and then running behind, I know that there's that metal grate. Is that safe? That's okay to run those wires underneath like that?
Well, so this was everything you see here. This was during the build process. None of this is finished product. There was a
Got it.
lot of wire management that went into the end of this project. And if you would see the rest of the boat in this state, that's pretty much the way the entire boat looked, because we had to run wires from one end of the boat to the other. They have 4 different Serbo GX systems on this boat.
Wow.
It was interesting. It's by far the most extensive one that I've ever done.
Looks beautiful. Any thoughts there, fellas?
Just can you tell us the numbers, please?
I wish I could, man. This was a few years ago. I've done quite a few between now and then. If I don't even know where I would find those numbers at this point, to be quite honest with you.
All right, we're going to bounce through, and it looks beautiful, and I have so many thoughts and questions. I've got just enough experience with it that I'm dangerous, but I know I'm dangerous,
Yeah. This was a boat in Annapolis. If you go up there, they have the little Duffy boats, and you can take them out and you can rent them. This was one of the conversions for those. I believe that motor is called a Thula or a Thusa or something very similar to that. They'll probably crucify me in the comments. But it was something they had previously purchased and needed it installed, and it was a fairly simple, straightforward setup. As you see, everything they gave you for the reduction gear and everything, I mean, it was a really solid product. I was really happy with it. Honestly, I would have told them to have somebody else install it if I didn't like the quality of it, and it was good enough for me to install for sure.
Nice.
That's it right there inside of the case, and you can see all the blue tape on the inside, so it looks finished, but it's not. There's the after it was installed in the little boat.
More Victron blue.
Yeah.
All right, you catamaran guys like this one.
Oh yeah.
This was up in Maryland, north of Annapolis, over a giant bridge, and that's all I remember. So this catamaran, this gentleman, I don't want to get this wrong. I think Jehovah's Witness, something to that effect. And he's building this boat to spread the gospel. And I helped him out with it. This boat has 2 ocean volt systems. It has 2 multi-plus systems, plus a third battery bank in it. Very much a work in progress. And when I got to it, it was kind of like I started this project and I don't know where to go with it from here, which I get a lot of. And a lot of people will run from that. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't take projects from people halfway through. I don't have a problem doing it as long as they let me do everything I want to do. I don't have a problem finishing people's projects for them and doing it right, and maybe tweaking what they did before. And that was kind of where this boat was. They, they had an idea of what they wanted and kind of an idea how to get there, but didn't quite know how to get there. And I just kind of got them over the finish line on this one.
Kevin, quick question. So I took my time installing our own multi-plus, and it's kind of silly because when I finally got around to it, it was like, oh, this is not as hard and scary as I had made it out to be. I had watched a few videos where, oh, if you don't shave just the right amount of insulation off and get enough exposure, fire will happen and kill you and everyone on board. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm scared now. But curious, I don't have this loop in the wiring, the DC wiring. Is there a purpose for that?
So I do not remember that install specifically. Typically I do put a service loop in my wiring, simply so that if I do need to pull it off to do any adjustments, anything, I have that extra little play.
Gotcha.
If you cut all your wires to the exact length, if you ever have to pull it off the wall, you ever have to do any modifications, and you have to disconnect it. And sometimes you need it connected to troubleshoot these things.
Understood.
So I always like to put a service loop in everything.
Well, that's a really great point. I'm glad I asked it because some of our viewers are more like, I don't know this world. Now, the videos that I watch, again, YouTube, similar to what you described, they showed more like a little extra length that was almost like a loop, if you will, inside the little where it gets covered. And so he was saying, oh, well, if you need to shave any off, for whatever reason, this gives you that little extra buffer. But I really like your idea of a full loop there.
This is the way to go. If you need to shave anything off, then you take it out of your loop on this side.
Beautiful.
You don't want any more heat inside of that casing than you need. Wire's insulated, but they still give off heat. And, you want to limit heat anytime you're working with electricity, as pretty much everybody knows. And one of the ways to do it is to have that loop outside of the casing.
Love that. Patrick, do you have that in yours? I'm not want to put you on the spot, but I'm curious. It's fascinating.
So I did plan to put service loops. What I did was I put service extra and too much. I've got a problem cutting cables short enough. I always leave too much behind, thinking I'll need to do something and replace something, and I end up with this mess sitting there. So this is a nicer idea. I think this is the way to go.
That's cool. I just love learning. Thank you very much, Kevin. All right, let's move through.
I believe that's the same boat, and that's the motor. Put one in each hull.
Nice.
People with big budgets.
Oh yeah, bigger than mine. I'll tell you that. This is back to that beautiful wooden boat.
So I'm hearing confirmation from everyone else that there's no lag on my end. On the functional side, there's a big lag. So my apologies if I'm behind.
Yeah, it's looking clear from my end.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, too.
Yep.
Oh, so this boat right here is a very good friend of mine. He lives here in Wilmington. This is a 28-foot Bayfield. And the gentleman who owns it, Al, he loves that boat. And he has no problem spending money on it to do everything right. And it's been a really fun project. Not
Cool.
only did I do the Ocean Volt install on this and all the supporting things, and he went with the Ocean Volt thing of the Battleborn batteries, which Battleborn makes a good product, don't get me wrong, but it's not for me. um, but nonetheless, on top of that, I put a 12-volt air conditioner on this. I put a wind vane on the back, a step on the back of it. I've put a chimney and a fireplace inside of it. And it's hands down the most decked out Bayfield on the planet. I will put money on it. This is his motor setup here. This is what he went with. I believe this one is the AC powered Ocean Volt. I did, yep, you can see it right there, AX5. I did this. This was actually my first professional install. Now, come to think of it. Believe it or not, a little quick segue. After I made my boat electric, on my maiden voyage, I sailed from Portsmouth, Virginia, motored more or less, from Portsmouth, Virginia out to Virginia Beach. Went in there, anchored up for the night. I just happened to be going to land, go get some food, and I bump into Derek Roop, who is CEO of Ocean Volt USA. And me being all excited about my new electric boat, I was talking about my boat's electric. He told me who he was. I wound up on his boat having drinks later on that night. And then the next thing
famous
I know,
last words.
Yeah, next thing I know, he's sending me work, and I have a new career. It was I'd sold my last company in 2020, and I sold my 2007 50-foot Beneteau, and downgraded everything, and was just kind of sailing around aimlessly until I ran into Derek, and
That's cool.
That's how I became. That's how I'm on this podcast right now, basically.
I love that.
This is that same Bayfield and those iconic blue lights that I was speaking
Yep.
of earlier.
Beautiful. Man, this has been awesome. And I'll tell you that it's been so insightful too to kind of learn some of the things and also just seeing some great work. I really appreciate you coming on here and want to explore a little bit about your why. Like, why are you doing this? Why live on a boat? Why take on all these tasks when living on land is so normal?
First of all, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so that might have something to do with it. But 15 years ago, I had my third home. All three of them, one went to my ex-wife, one burnt down, one got broken into and robbed. And I was kind of over it. And I spent my whole life on boats. And I just came across this 50-foot 1989 Hyundai Elegance yacht that I could not afford, but I made it to where I could afford it. And I was a single dad to a 2-year-old at the time, and we moved on the boat, and the rest is kind of history. I had never sailed at that point.
Wow.
One of my neighbors, while living on that boat, took me out sailing while I was hungover, and after throwing up, I realized that I love to sail and I needed to get a sailboat. So I sold the big boat, bought 2 sailboats, taught myself to sail,
Epic.
and just kind of kept going. I rented a house last year for a year. I don't think I'll do that again. I missed my boat. It was nice. I now have a box truck full of stuff that I accumulated from living in a house. So I don't think the house life was for me.
The house life is not for me. That is something that seems to resonate and ring true across multiple boards. And I guess another one would be hearing you say, I was hungover, and after I threw up, I decided this life is for me. I'm like, oh, nice. I love it. Well, we always like to wrap up each episode with kind of a final thoughts. And I don't know, I'm feeling like we're at that, 55-minute mark. We could do this, or if the guys have more comments or questions, I want to leave room for that. Let me put the feelers out there, see where you guys are, if you're ready for final thoughts or if we're ready to ask more questions. I would say let's not go too terribly past an hour if we do have more questions, though.
I have so many questions. We're gonna have to carry on another time, I think, Kevin.
You have
My
my
first
direct
one was
line, Patrick.
my first one was going to be, how did you end up with my dream job, being able to spend other people's money doing cool stuff? But you've answered that one, so that's good.
Dumb luck.
Then I want to know more or less. So if you've got a shaft drive, it goes out at an angle, so you lose some efficiency. But if you've got a ocean vault, you've got a sail drive, you've got a gearbox, but you've got a straight prop. Are there benefits there? And I'll give you one more, and we can pass on to somebody else. I've got the opinion that any boat can function as an electric boat. Catamarans do well; they can fit lots of solar. Monohulls do well; they can get lots of batteries. People who know how to sail don't need lots of each. You've probably got more experience than anyone else I've spoken to in putting electric boats together. Are there any boats that doesn't work for, and what type of boats works really well as an electric boat?
Off the top of my head, if I had to speculate, I think that just about any boat probably, could be electric. You would have to alter some things. You could do the locomotive type of submarine thing and do a hybrid. Because in a lot of these, you're going to need a lot of power. There's a friend of mine is on the West Coast right now, and he's powering ships and big commercial vessels with electric motors because of the whole California Green Initiative, and California picking up the bill for it and stuff like that. So I feel like where there's a will, there's a way. With that being said, I don't think every boat is a good candidate for electric. I don't think every person's boating style is a good candidate for electric. If I wanted to get offshore and go slay some fish on my sport fish, I would not want two electric motors taking me out there and getting me back. That's just me. So is it possible? Yes. Is it the best idea? Probably not in every instance.
Kevin, can you give us a little bit of why you would not want that?
Oh yeah, very much so. So it takes a whole lot to get those sport fishes up on a plane. The idea of having enough power to get me 40 miles offshore and then back that same day and hope I'm not being chased by a squall while it's happening.
Yeah.
I just don't see your average electric motor setup being able to carry all of that.
Sure.
Sure.
As much as I love electric motors and propulsion and all this, the solar and everything, I get it. It's not a perfect answer for all needs, and I don't mind that being brought up on our show. That's real. I want to keep this always real. I think we all do.
I've definitely heard about clients before because they have, a certain dream in mind, and I'm just like, that's not really attainable unless you're willing to put, go buy $1 million worth of stuff and throw it in, things like that. So it's not for everybody. It's not for every application. But the applications it does work for, it's phenomenal. I've been living on boats for 15 years. If I had to go back to a diesel engine, I'd probably buy an RV. I don't think I would or could do it.
So as a rule of thumb, maybe displacement holes are good, planing holes don't work. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, that's a very fair assessment. And
cool. I'll hand over to the rest. I've got a bunch more questions, but
I've known people who've been quite successful transferring those repurposed leaf motors into boats and things like that, and it's pretty cool. But it's not something myself or my company would undertake.
Right.
Patrick,
I think let's have you revisit some of those other questions. I don't need to be in too big of a hurry. I'll relinquish my time to you.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you've done a lot of ocean vault installs. That's a sail drive. So you're going through a gearbox. You lose a bit of efficiency. A shaft drive, though, no efficiency loss through a gearbox, but you've got an angled prop. Is there a pro or con to either of those?
I would like to say that they probably offset each other. And as you mentioned, your resistance from the gearbox is probably going to be close to what you're going to lose in the angle of the prop with it not being, straight with it having the angle. With that being said, I've never done the same boat two different ways to be able to know for sure. But from my experience working with similar boats, I feel like I think the sail drive is probably the more efficient and better way to go.
Cool.
And
Okay, good to know.
when I'm saying that, I'm specifically saying Ocean Volt because they got their stuff together. Those guys know their stuff.
They do. I think you're the second person who raved about Ocean Vault. We had a guy on a while ago, I can't remember the name, Jason will remember, who had he bought a couple used for a really good price. At the time, he wasn't happy because Ocean Vault wanted him to use Ocean Vault batteries, and he wanted to do third party. Do they still push their own batteries, or can you use any battery you like?
You can use any battery you like. I do know that at one point they were selling the packages.
Yeah.
But I'm like I said, Battleborn makes excellent things, and that's good. Me personally, I'd rather have 148-volt battery than 412-volt batteries. Just balancing, simply enough. And yeah, so I think that, I don't think you have a problem these days just ordering the equipment you want, but they are always going to try to upsell you and sell you them packages. Yeah. And, they have a working relationship with Battleborn, and, it is a business at the end of the day.
Yeah, my view always on the 148 or 248s versus 412-volt batteries in series is if you put 4 in series, you've got 4 points of failure. One BMS dies, you lose all 4, the whole string. But if you put in parallel, you've got backup BMSs, which I think is always nice. What else is there? Prop size. Is there an ideal prop size and shaft speed that you've sort of run into, or you fairly flexible?
Boat dependent. It is very boat dependent. My particular boat, I just put a new prop on, and I did not like the pitch of the original prop that I bought, and so after I got in my slip, I had a diver swap it out, put a different prop on. It is very much boat dependent. My boat does not regen worth a crap. Hull shape, keel design, call it what you will. So that's definitely 100% a boat by boat situation.
Got it. And then my very last question, my favorite thing about my electric boat, and I think Jason's too, is this. I've got the wireless throttle, which e-propulsion makes, and it means I can anchor and unanchor myself perfectly. Do any other manufacturers offer that as a feature, or is it something you can retrofit to a boat with some clever electronics? Because if I ever had to go to a different motor or a bigger boat, that's the one thing I'd miss.
I got to tell you, that feature right there is my favorite feature of that whole setup there. And it's the only one that I've seen quite like that. Now, I can build you anything you want, any way that you want, but just coming straight from the factory like that's a really solid setup, and I've always been impressed by it.
All right. I'm going to put you on speed dial for when I win the lottery.
There you go. I'm your man. I'll take some of your money.
All right, I'll hand over to the rest of the guys there. Thanks.
That's so fantastic. Well, let's jump into final thoughts. Unless Aaron, I'm going to give you window here if you want to.
No, I'm good.
Keep going. Well, I really do appreciate your time, everyone's time. Those who've joined us on the stream as well. I appreciate the comments and the frequent verifications that there's no lag anywhere but with me. That always makes me feel good. My final thoughts, I'll go ahead and start, and then we'll go through the panel here, is this is such an impressive boat. I like that you feel happy with the electric propulsion going through the ICW. That really stood out to me. As you know, that's a lot of our journey. So my brain started really firing off right there. And
Can
hearing.
I interrupt you for 1 second?
Please do.
I want to just add a little something to that.
Yeah, please do.
I have a little rule when cruising the ICW by electric though.
Oh,
I will fight the current, or I will fight the wind. I don't fight the wind and the current.
that's
So
a good rule of win.
kind of the only thing. And as you know, in some spots in the ICW, for 5 miles you'll be into a current, and then you're going with the current, and then
Right.
next mile it's and things like
So
that.
weird.
So
Yep.
adjust expectations for sure. But I love it.
Yeah. And the pungo. Oh my God, I loved the pungo. That was so fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, the final thoughts for me are just how your talk reminded me of how enjoyable it was for us to have our first season of sea trial, and like, can this thing work? Is this a thing, or is just Patrick a brilliant person and you're trying to copy him and you don't have that kind of brains? And no, it really actually is cool. And it's something that we fell in love with and want to return to ASAP. And so just hearing your conversation about the part of the world we'll be kicking off in again is refreshing. So thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, I love seeing all the different types of technologies working together. It makes my mind start turning to see what's possible. Um, you know, a lot of people out there tell you that it's impossible. I know for a fact that Kevin's come up against this several times, which is
Oh yeah.
the reason why I connected with him in the first place, was as a result of seeing that happening. There's definitely a lot of keyboard warriors out there, many of which don't have the experience to stand behind them. They just spew off stuff, and even when you show them that it works, you can prove it to them. You're showing them the results. They still don't believe that it works. So, I mean, I like just sitting back. Like I'm not going to talk very much, but I like sitting back and just seeing that all this is possible, because that puts it in my mind that, wow, all of these people out there saying that it's impossible, and then you see 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 people showing you that it's possible. That I love seeing that. Go ahead. Yeah, you're up. Sorry.
Thanks. All right. So, what I'd like to know, so you're living the dream. I mean, you get on a boat, you get to go and stay in beautiful places. Your job is my idea of fun, except you get paid for it. And it pretty much fell into your. So, my question is, what good deeds did you do in your past life to end up here now?
I wish I knew, because I'd do them again this life.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, back to you guys then. Thanks.
That's fantastic. Well, let's jump over to Kevin. Kevin, your final thoughts before we go ahead and wrap this thing up.
I would like to allude to what Aaron was saying earlier. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. It's all possible. I'm on my 3rd generation of my motor. I made mistakes along the way. I almost flooded my boat with my water maker at one point. But at every point I took a step back, reassessed, and attacked it again. And, like I said, I mean, here I am 5+ years later, 5,000+ miles later.
Awesome.
And it's 100% possible. Now, is everybody willing to put in the work and deal with the frustration? And it's not all rainbows and sunshine. I will tell you that, and you 3 know. But in my mind, the good days outweigh the bad tenfold. If I had to do it all over again, I would do it again.
Love that. And so on that note, let's go ahead and call this one a wrap. Folks, thank you so much for chiming in, bringing comments, and watching even after the fact. So we had a little shuffle here, full disclosure. I had to look in the mirror to find out whose fault it was, and he was looking back at me. But we had a shift in topics. If you were paying real close attention to last episode, which I know there's at least 1 million people who that fits, then you were expecting to get here today for Patrick McKay's topic of choice, which was, Patrick?
Mast or no mast?
Yes. There it is. If you throw lightning bolts at Patrick and destroy his
No.
autopilot, he will forget his own topics, is what I'm learning right now. No, the topic is the mast and even the song that
That's
he sang at
right.
the end. And
Should it stay or
so
should it go?
and so we will be doing that not next week because that was my topic, which is the solar canopy, solar arch. And so the topic will be about how to get that solar above your boat safely and effectively. The only reason I'm not shuffling that one is because we have our past special guest, Reinhard, scheduled to join us for that. And so what I think we'll do is we'll plan on next week being the solar arches and then the following week being the mast, and then we will wrap up with a special topic brought to you by none other than Extraordinary Horizons own Capitan Aaron himself will be bringing a surprise topic, not one, not two, but 3 weeks from now. So thank you again, everyone. So appreciate you watching. Be sure to remember that we had a disclaimer that we put up at the beginning. I'm going to put it up one more time, but I don't think we'll do that every single time. That this essentially says, hey guys, proceed at your own risk. Now, that said, we always wrap up our show because, we Americans, we have our way of communicating, but those Europeans, not really all of them, some of them not so much. But Patrick McKay with Sailing Electra, he has the most iconic conclusion of any episode you've ever seen. So Patrick, send us out.
I really don't know why, but